So this is the Janome 3160 sewing machine. The first thing you really can't see is that it's only 14 pounds. So when you go to class or when you're taking this places or just moving it around your house, it's not lugging a big heavy machine. It is a full-size machine, motor, 7-inch opening. And what you see, this nice extension table, that does come with it. So it's going to give us more working space. Does come with a hard cover, does come with a great instruction book. But let's talk about feet. So it does come with your regular, what I would call regular sewing feet. Your regular A foot, an overcast foot, a zipper foot, a blind hem foot, a one-step buttonhole foot, so you can make a one-step buttonhole, needles, bobbins, and things like that. It also comes with, and this is going to be really nice, this is the extra quilting feet set. We used to always have to buy a separate walking foot, a separate 1/4-inch foot, darning foot for stippling. This comes with it, so you're not buying any extra feet. So your quilting feet, 1/4-inch stipple and walking feet do come with it. We do have 2 options on sewing. We can actually use our foot control like we've done forever and ever, or we can also unplug our foot control and use the stop-start button and sew right from this button. It allows us to sit up nice and easy and more comfortable like that. So I'm going to do just plain old sewing for the first point. I have my F foot on, and we do have, if you look here, this is important, we do have extra lift. So when you have to put your heavier fabrics in or thicknesses, that'll lift up really nicely. We do have a true 7-piece feed system for good feeding. Fabric catches 4 areas when you start. I'm going to lift up and use my snap-on foot to start sewing. I'm going to unplug my foot control that I just spoke about, and I'm going to use my stop-start feature. So number 1, I can get closer to my machine, my legs are back, I'm sitting straighter. Turn the machine on, you have plain old regular straight stitch. This is great speed control, so no matter what I do, the machine's going to be either stitch by stitch, faster or slower. When you stop, the machine stops down so you can pivot. I'm going to continue a little bit. We do have plain old reverse, which we've always had, but we also have this nice locking stitch. So when you come to the end of the seam, the needle will go up and down and make a lock. Needle down. Watch this. Thread cutter. When you press this button, you'll hear a noise, and that cut the thread perfectly on the top, and your tails are on the bottom. Great feature. So all these features easy to use right in here. We do have pressure adjustment, so you can have the pressure from the foot to the base and have different thicknesses of fabric. One of the most popular features or feet is a walking foot. Years ago we called it a plaid matcher or an even feed. The bottom feed teeth are pushing our fabric, but I might want top feed to match with the bottom feed, and that's what this foot will do. So when you're quilting and you're going through your layers of batting, that's what we normally use. But I bet you ladies are making masks, and I bet you when you go on the side of that mask over those layers, you might be saying, geez, what am I doing? I want to show you a use. I'm now going to put on my walking foot. Now I'm going to actually unscrew my ankle, which is this metal piece, ankle and foot. So this whole thing comes off. A walking foot comes, I put it in from the back. Now take your hand wheel, lower your needle bar so the screw clamp is showing. I'm going to slide this in and make sure that white bar is over your needle clamp, right like that. Because as that goes up and down, that makes that foot move. I'm going to also line up and put the screw in, and let's get this just, whoop, now this is not being too good, but I'm going to just line up that screw right in here and give it a little tug. Make sure this is nice and snug up to the needle bar. So even though I'm using my fingers, take your screwdriver, give it a twist. So I'm going to go slow and show you just what this foot does. I'm going to go slow speed. These white teeth are meshing with the bottom feed dogs. So that's actually holding your layers together. Again, we've always used it for quilting nowadays, but I want to show you for thicknesses. My needle's down, I can now cut. So that was just a little sample. So here is a mask that we're kind of in production, right? And what I want to do is I want to top stitch my 2 layers and come around the edge where you have your pleats. First thing I want to do is go slow. I'm going to use it like a low gear. So I'm slowing down that machine. I'm also going to use, I like to use the Janome purple tip needle. It's good for thicknesses, a great all-around needle. So that's what I have in my machine. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to start to sew. Now, see right now, if I put the fabric, my mask right under there, it's kind of hanging on and off. So I want to move my needle over. So my needle will be over into the place. So right here, this is your stitch choice. If I go to stitch width, I can actually move my needle. See what's happening to that needle? Move it all the way over so that it will ride better on that fabric. I'm going to start sewing. Now, I want a little more control. Excuse me for a sec. A little more control. So I'm going back to my regular foot. Okay? Slow speed. And I'm going to just go maybe a little faster. Yeah. Now, one other thing, bear with me, that I forgot to tell you. We moved our needle. We're not piecing. We're not joining 2 layers of fabric together. We're just top stitching. So if I want to top stitch, I want my stitch length to be longer. So I went over to my stitch length, and I'm lengthening that up and going to feed much, much better. So I'm sewing along, and when I get to the corner, you can go maybe even a little bit faster, okay? So now let's say you want to be picky. You want to get right into that corner. This is where we can use our needle up, needle down. We're using this as a stitch by stitch feature, so you don't have to say, oh, I'm too far, I'm too little, so I can go stitch by stitch. That's with the needle up, needle down feature. Give it a twist, and these are some little binder clips. So what I'm going to do is just sew, and no problem. Here's my other binder clip. Same thing, needle stops down. And again, you want to be picky where you want to be. Needle up, needle down, and go. So you can gauge that just where you want to go. Now, I'm going to go a little faster because I want you to see what this machine can do. Okay. Slow it on down. And again, if you want to just go stitch by stitch, get you just where you want to be. Just perfect. Just twist. Out comes the binder. Foot down. Same thing here. Now, see I smushed that a little bit? That's not a problem. What you can do is just take your scissor and just slide that baby right back down, okay? And because I'm sewing with the pleats forming up at this point, not down. And keep on going, down, and you're going to join up. Now, remember that nice locking stitch? That locking stitch, you don't have to reverse. It's going to stay nice and clean. Needle down and cut. Good lift, and you've done beautiful pleats on your masks or thicker fabrics. So if you have any questions, just give us an email because we have different hours, and I'll be glad to get back to you. So until we meet again, thank you so much.